Okay, here we are. It's Sunday afternoon, and we're here in the United States. And with me this afternoon is no other than two-time Olympian, Mr. Dennis Blake, who hails from Jamaica, migrated to the US, based on track and field, scholarship, and more to add to that. But, as I said, two-time Olympian is here with us, and we're just gonna have a candid conversation surrounding some of the issues that is happening in the athletic world. And with that, we just want to say, Dennis, welcome to Together We Rise, and there's so much more. So welcome, Dennis.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks for having me, man. Great to be here.
All right, Dennis. So without any delay, I know, probably your phone must be blowing up with what is happening over there in Jamaica, you know, and the athletics world. We have seen and we have heard where athletes are leaving Jamaica to represent other countries, in terms of switching alliance. You know, before you dove into this, Dennis, I just want to just give a quick overview who Dennis is for those who don't know you. And if you have anything in your background, Dennis, any other electronics, kind of get it off, and you know we're having a feedback.
You have enough feedback?
But you could go ahead.
Okay, so all right, so like you rightfully say, I'm from Jamaica, St. Elizabeth to be exact. Past student of St. Elizabeth Technical High School. I got a scholarship and went to Blinn Junior College in Texas. Then I got 39 scholarship offers, and I chose Alabama A&M University. Competed twice in the Olympics, won a bronze medal. Twice at the World Championship, won a silver medal. Twice at the World University Games and won a silver medal. I've run at the Pan American Games, CAC Games, and yeah, and that's pretty much an overview of my athletic career.
All right, Dennis. It's good to know, and just want to say thank you for representing Jamaica, the little country, say we little but with Alawa.
Yeah.
And not that, but just the fact that you brought home medals over, the period of you performing for Jamaica, as you mentioned, from across all levels of the sports. And I know, you are also a mentor. This, may have to tell people, but Dennis is also a mentor, guys. He's also a health advocate. And, some of these come later down the road, as he aspire to reach great heights, So,
Yeah.
Dennis, as we said, we hear and we know what is happening there in Jamaica. Could you just tell us, from your standpoint, what you're hearing, and how does this sit with like athletes who have represented Jamaica throughout the years, and what is happening currently?
All right, so I know prior to what is taking place now, we had Asafa Powell who came out and was talking about his kids and what he would want them to do should they consider running track and all that are playing sports. And I know he got a lot of backlash for that. Um, but I personally was on his side. And fast forward now, the same thing that he was talking about is pretty much what, sorry, is pretty much what is happening now. From what I get to understand is that there are some athletes that want to migrate to, I think it's Turkey, some other countries to do to participate in sports. And to be honest with you, it might be a little bit disheartening to hear of the athletes wanting to leave, but I know their struggles because I've been there. There are many athletes in my time that was running who have had severe issues and abilities to sustain themselves during the sports, during when they were competing. And so, to be honest with you, I honestly believe that they should go. I mean, I'm just going to bluntly say that they should go because you will find athletes talk about loyalty, but if the country or the sports association is not loyal to you, then you have to go where you can earn your bread. It's your living. That is your job. That's what you're doing. You have some of them have families. Some of them coming from poor background like me, and families are depending on them, and so to be just go if that's where if that's what you want to do, just do it.
All right, Dennis. So you have outlaid some things there, and reasons why athletes may step out. First, you mentioned right now is financial backing, and an athlete it's their life. They have to really take control of their life and looking at their future, what life holds even after track and field. But
Correct.
Dennis, what I want to ask you, as an athlete representing Jamaica, way back I know in the 90s, just tell us what that were some of the things that you were looking for back then that is still not there for these athletes today.
One of the things right off the top was the financial support. That was one of the things. Financial support. You'll find out that there are athletes who coming to training. Um, the A lot of us didn't have the financial support, the sponsorship to come to training with the proper gear, right? So we have to use what we have. We have to rotate them, and so that's what one thing. The nutrition part of it was not available for us. We didn't have the nutrition like some other athletes have, and those who had contracts. Um, uh, and just the moral support, just to show that people care. You know what I mean? The lack of care uh, by the administration was not paramount. You find out that I think they took us for granted, and I think that is what is happening now, and it's now backfiring on them because okay, so I get the feeling that they're saying, okay, so if you want to go, go, but we have 10 other athletes coming behind you, so we don't have to worry about you leaving. And I think that is what is happening now. And um, just think about it. Even these athletes, if they go away and perform extremely well, other athletes are going to see that as an opportunity. Wait, I need to do that too. And before you know it, the coaches might be doing the same thing. You know what? This is a great opportunity. I might take the opportunity and go and coach somewhere else. Yeah.
All right. So what I want to do is share across the global stage, Jamaica, and wherever you are out there. I know at some point this message may reach you. Um, Dennis would have been a decorated athlete. Simple mean Dennis have bring or brought home 2 bronze medals for Jamaica. So if you're talking about somebody who have taken the athletics to the peak, the greatest stage of any athletics event is to get to the Olympics. He have been there twice. Now, Dennis, I know this may be a pressuring question, but with you being such a decorated athlete, you have given your all for Jamaica. All right. How much have Jamaica given back to you so people know what athletes go through?
Uh, um, yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Um, Apart from the basic stuff like uniform, paying their fare, and all that type of thing, um, I honestly can't say that they have. There's nothing that I can pinpoint to say, okay, Jamaica has done this for me. Um, they might look at it and say, okay, but we do give you a platform and an opportunity to run at the stadium and run in trials and all that type of thing. Yeah, they could say that. I don't know if you look at that as giving somebody an opportunity, giving somebody something. Um, there was no monetary value. There was so really and truly, I really can't pinpoint anything. I might be getting a little old, So, but right now, I can't pinpoint anything that they have done really.
Wow, wow, wow. Now I would say Jamaicans and the J3, this is sad. And why I'm saying this is you're a decorated athlete. Not every athlete that put in the work will get to your stage, you know? And if you, as being a decorated athlete, you have basically written your name in the history book in terms of among the greats that would have brought home an Olympic medal. And if you can sit here this afternoon and say to us that you have not really reaped that much from the system, so what you're telling me is that really and truly, if I'm an athlete and I have been offered some form of a package, you know, incentive, and even probably better living condition, training, health, and you mentioned also about nutrition, which is very vital and a key thing in terms of
Hmm.
an athlete, because when you go out there exerting energy, you're burning of all your resources. And if you don't even get compensation to put that back, it is tough. So I know a lot of people they're saying, okay, loyalty and loyalty and loyalty. But at the end of the day, Dennis, you're telling me that if you didn't fend for yourself after your two Olympic medals, then you could have found yourself in a dire situation, which doesn't look good. And these are things that people need to know. I'm not bashing the system in Jamaica, but I'm saying it's probably about time we start looking how we treat our athletes. And if we treat them well, I don't think they will just step out like this. You also mentioned about Asafa stepping out and saying what he said, and he was bashed.
Hmm.
He's another top athlete deep into the system. So he
And,
also knows
and to be honest with you,
what he's facing.
there are many, many athletes. There are many, many athletes who have. There are many, many athletes that are bitter against the association because of their own personal experiences, and so. And if you take a good look back now, you'll realize that a lot of the past professional athletes, what are they doing? They don't even come to the stadium to watch the trials. They don't even come to any of the games. Um, so that is a reason. There has to be a reason why past athletes not interested after they compete and stuff. It is because of their experiences. I mean, the athletes, every athlete that passed through the system has their own story. They have their own story, whether it is personal story or collective stories. Um, and I think there's nothing that has been done to really um, sort of bring the current athletes and the past athletes together. And to be honest with you, I asked myself the question: what is the JOA for? What is the Jamaica Olympic Association for? Maybe somebody could get them on the program to tell us what is their purpose. You know what I mean? These, if you ask these current athletes if they know who X and Y is, they will tell you no. You have past athletes who have paved the way for these athletes, but these young generation of athletes don't even know us. They don't even know who we are. And so there's nothing in place for that type of camaraderie or togetherness, for athletes to really know the people them who were ahead of them. Nothing.
That is sad. Very sad situation there. And I want to go back, Dennis. I know you used to follow this program, Ian and Ian Real Talk. But then I remember I brought on Daniel England, one of Jamaica bright prospect back in the days.
Mhm.
And after Daniel England got a scholarship to the US, and I said the entire Jamaica eyes were on Daniel England. And he said, and this surprised me back then, he said he could not actually go back to Jamaica. Like he was struggling to go to have qualification because nobody would pay his fare. You know, it's like So athletes seem like they have to be coming out of their pocket sometimes to get to training, to get to meet and all that stuff, which I don't think a country, say for example US, because I am gonna put Jamaica in the US class based on athletes, not stability or anything. Our athletes are just as good or better than US, and we have seen that the rivalry is Jamaica, USA. And I don't think the US treat their athletes the way Jamaican treat their athletes. I don't think another country can come and say we're gonna offer a US athlete this money and they're gonna walk away. They can't do it because the US makes sure they take care of their athlete. So what are we doing wrong, Dennis? I don't know if you could shed some light on it. What are we doing wrong?
Uh, we doing a lot of things wrong. I think, um, I think lack of vision. Without vision, the people perish. We know that. I think there's a lack of vision um, with the administration. I also believe, if I go back with Hussein Bolt, when Hussein Bolt was running and doing so well, exceptionally well, I believe that there's so much things that the country itself could have capitalized off that great opportunity, and they have missed it. But again, the lack of vision is what caused um, the associations or the administration to miss opportunities and to be able to help the athletes the way in which they should. You'll find out that um, I don't. I think the system is so ingrained in friends and you know what I mean. It's the association itself is so tight knit that when this person comes out, is somebody from that same group of people that need to be in position. And I think that is what is stifling the track world. Um, they should be looking at um, sports tourism. I mean, when you think about Jamaica as one of the top little island in the world when it comes to track and field, everybody wants a piece of Jamaica, whether it is just to talk to someone, whether it is to learn the lingo or come and train. And the country itself is not capitalizing on that great opportunity as sports tourism. And I think, yeah, vision, lack of vision, man.
Dennis, I wanna say, I wanna lock hands with you in terms of this lack of vision. And I wouldn't just say it's the athletics part of it. It's entire Jamaica. And
Mm,
I think, as you also said, personal gain. It's about a certain clique, certain set of people, certain
mhm.
set of athletes. And why I'm gonna say this, I don't want to take the conversation away from where we are. We're talking about what is happening in Jamaica and the athletes. But I am a cricketer, and I'm gonna talk about cricket. In Jamaica, I don't think the cricketers are also supported just the same way. And it go back to the compensation and all of that stuff, with their health, their nutrition, housing, and all those stuff. They are not being treated well. And we have seen where that have catapulted over into the West Indies. Nowadays, most West Indian don't even want to turn on their television or their radio to listen anything about West Indies cricket because we have great players. It's not that's a lack of talent. We have great talented players, but we realize the same set of thing. They are now playing in the IPL, the CPL, a little league down in Dubai, a little league in India, and the reason again is money, finance. What do we do? Play here for Jamaica, who if you get yourself hurt, they will not even follow through to make sure that you are being treated, fairly in terms of getting good medical care.
Right.
They don't even seek out medical care for you. Have cricketers who they have to be responsible for seeking after chiropractor, to
Mm.
deal with their injury, and they're never compensated for it. We have seen great cricketers who get left behind because of just one injury, even though they are great, talented cricketers. So, as you said, there's a lack of vision. I'm also gonna take it back to our music. And this is our culture. These are our rich heritage, sports, entertainment, music. Right now, we see what is happening on the world stage with our top artists. They're leaving Jamaica and they're now on the overseas market. You see a Vibes Cartel can ask for a 1 million and 1 million plus for a show and it's getting it. You see a Vibes Cartel right now that is driving this industry where he's selling out all these arenas. Overseas, not Jamaica, this money is going. We are the one who developed this reggae music. Why can't we have even the national stadium? We use it for track and field, but guess what? Let's develop like an arena setting where we keep our musician there. We have festive season, and we bring that money to Jamaica. That money again is leaking out overseas. So same thing with our athletes. Our talent is leaking overseas. And why? Because they see what we are not seeing. I think we put on blindfolders because, as you say, lack of vision. We're not seeing it.
That's it.
And I think this is hurting us in every area. So it's not just track and field. We see it hurting us in cricket. We see it spilling over in the music industry. After Bob Marley, we have not seen anything happening on the ground in Jamaica where the money is coming into Jamaica. The money is going flying all over England, Canada, all these places. These artists are going to have shows and they're sold out. What happened to our little island that produced these people? Let them come back there. So the vision is lacking, Dennis, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, absolutely, man. I mean, I go back to, I talk about sports tourism. What about music tourism? I mean, you could just put every tourism on everything. Even the color itself sells. The food that we produce sells. I mean, you go as far as Australia, and you see people selling food, and they just call it, they just make it look as if it's Jamaican, but it's not really Jamaican food. But they just put the name on it, and people are swarming the place buying the food. What I mean? So again, you go back to the vision part of it, and I think the association, they need to really take a look at what is happening, because I don't think these, whether it is 4 or so athletes that are going to leave or on the verge of leaving, I am almost guaranteed that there are going to be more athletes leaving within the next couple of years, um, to other countries. And if it and the Olympic is coming up in the next 3 years or so, yeah, there are countries that want the Jamaican athletes, and they are going to pay the money to get them because they want to win medals.
With that said, Dennis, I am just gonna say I just make a quick research into what Turkey is doing that Jamaica is not doing, that they can pull our athletes away. And you know what I realized? That Turkey basically they say they offer better contracts. So the contract package is much better. The stipend better. Basically, housing is provided, training facility, and bonuses. Some of them even promise pension. You know, and they even giving them job in Jamaica. We don't see these things. So this is just, and that is not much. So it's not like Turkey is offering something that Jamaica is not able to offer. So tell me your views on that part, Dennis.
Right,
How
and I
hard
think
is it for us to do these things?
right. I think the private sector. I know I was watching a TikTok video earlier with Julia Cuthbert Flint, and I'm just going to piggyback off of what you were saying. Is that uh, the I think the private sector need to play a bigger role in helping these athletes. You know, they tend to go for the top athletes, and rightfully so, because they want to sell their products and they want their products to sell. But again, if you have the vision to know that this athlete has potential, and is expecting to do well, it doesn't hurt to sponsor those athletes and see them grow into, what they aspiring to become. So I would say the country need to do more. The Ministry of Sports need to do more. The tourism sector need to do more, and they need to they need to provide. I know now that now they have insurance. I believe now they have health insurance for athletes, and they've been working on some other things for the athletes. You know what I mean? So it's a step in the right direction. But I think it's a little bit too late, obviously, for these four athletes or so that are planning on leaving. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure this is going to be a topic that's going to be talked about for a very long time because we're going to have more athletes leaving.
Definitely. And this is what I gotta say. Jamaica produced athlete, world class athlete. But other than the elite who stand out like Usain Bolt, you know, Fraser Price, you know, these athletes, many of the other athletes, we realize they struggle. They struggle in terms of they don't have the support and they don't have the financial backing. And really and truly, if you look at Usain and Fraser Price, if it probably wasn't for sponsors and so forth, they probably would find themselves in similar people shoes that have basically given their entire life to the sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't know how to put it, but it is sad. But it's a sad reality of what is happening. And I'm not gonna bash an athlete if they step out to gain that financial strength or backing. So they have a family, they have to take care of their family. You have to think about that. What happened after the sports? What happened? We have seen so many big names, and after the glorious days when they represent us at the World Games and Olympics and so forth. After that, as you said, we don't even know where they are. They disappear. Nobody
Disappear.
talk about them anymore. And that I think should have been a rich heritage for us. So you mentioned tourism, athletics, tourism. We should have a place where once you enter Jamaica, not just at the airport where you have just a few people on the wall, but once you enter Jamaica, every street corner, you should be seeing all these names. Everybody should have known who is Dennis Blake. Say St. Elizabeth that you're from. Not even a monument. Oh, Dennis Blake represented Jamaica 2 bronze medals. So my daughter should know who is Dennis Blake. She will never know who is Dennis Blake probably if she don't hear about this little program here. You know? And that is sad. And that is their heritage. This is people like you who have put in sweat, blood, and tears into what you're doing. Because I tell you, track and field is a tough sport. You have to be disciplined, you have to be committed, and you have to be prepared to cross many hurdles, many barriers if you're gonna make it to the top.
Absolutely. It's a lot of sacrifices, man. You sacrifice. Oh man, you sacrifice so much things. You sacrifice your friends, you sacrifice your family, you sacrifice your sleep. It's just an array of things that you have to sacrifice. And I know a lot of the athletes, a lot of the professionals, like I said before, they don't get involved, and a lot of them have their own reasons and stuff like that. But some of them I know is they don't feel appreciated. They feel like more like they're taken for granted. I mean, no form. I strongly believe that the JOA, which I think I don't know if yeah the JOA or the J3, they should have a function every year. They should have a function every year and invite all the Olympians and other professional athletes to come home. You talk about Daniel England. I mean, Daniel England could not even come home for the trials. You know what I mean? And this is a top athlete. This is like a icon athlete in high school in
Yeah,
Jamaica, and he could not even come home for the trials. And but then, as a matter of fact, I think these type of athletes are these current athletes are probably having it a little easier because I remember my own experience is that but then you have to buy your own ticket if you come into the trials. And if you make the team, if you qualify for whether it's a world championship, whatever the team that whatever the competition is that year, if you qualify, they pay your way back. If you don't qualify, you have to find your way back. I mean, we're in school, we're in college, where we're going to get that money from to buy our ticket, go back. So you have to know where you are in terms of your performance over the years or leading up to the trials, what kind of shape you're in, and keep a tab on your compatriots, and just go down there and try to make it in the top six if they're taking six that year, so that you can get your ticket to be purchased to go back to school.
But
Uh,
then we've been talking about this a little. And from what I get, not just from you, but even from the greater um, world in terms of the athletics, you know, and this is gonna affect Caribbean too, and not just Jamaica later on. But from what I get, from talking to people, and I want our audience to understand that a lot of these artists they don't switch out of disloyalty, They switch because of necessity, you know. So not disloyalty, and that's what a lot of people coming out trying to bash the athlete, that they're switching allegiance and they're giving up their country and so forth. But from what I see, I don't think they're switching because of disloyalty to Jamaica, but they're switching out of necessity. And what I mean by this is that this decision for the athlete even to say switch allegiance to say Turkey, it's a family decision. It's not just that one athlete decision, Because
mm,
basically he have to look back and say, guess what? He have to support his family. He probably have a wife and he have kids. You know, I'm here with Jamaica, and it is challenging. And just even to put it this way, Jamaica, we have a factory of athletes. So as I said, talent is not the problem. We have a factory of athletes. So simple mean we may have in Jamaica even schoolboys. They're running sub 10, 10 point that. We have about 10, 15 of them. How many of them is going to make the Olympic team? So sometimes if they even move on to another country like Turkey, the chances are they may be more glorified and respected, because there's a greater chance of them making that Olympic team. And most
right.
athletes, if you don't know, they go into it. In the beginning, when you start running, you know that you're gonna get a medal, you're gonna get a trophy. It's self-gratification too. So don't even think that it's just that representing Jamaica or your school or anything. Yes, that is part of it. But the self-gratification when you can come home and you show mommy, look here, you get a medal. You can show your girls, you get a medal. Daddy say you get a medal. It is self-gratification. Right now, I have, you know, you look here, a trophy, and this is to be given to somebody who have done well, from the Together We Rise Building Our Nation platform, you know. And guess what? This is because of gratitude. You're giving back. You're showing that you appreciate somebody. But when that person hold up that trophy, or that medal, it's a total different feeling. And
Mm.
as I said, after the sports, if this is the only thing I'm gonna have to show after the sports, I'm gonna give me 500K. I give me a package with $1 million US bonus, and then me give me house, then give me insurance, my kids them taken care of. You think me ever just hold on for this? I don't think so. Me don't know about you, but me have a family to feed.
Yeah. Get rid of the trophy. Yeah, you mentioned something which I just want to say something about. You talk about Jamaica have a lot of talented athletes, especially at the high school level coming up. And while that is good, it also can be bad, which I think in this case, when I really analyze the whole thing, there might be the association might be, you know, not too keen or not too care about, okay, they can go, it's fine, no problem, because we have a bunch of athletes coming up. So that's the bad part about it, is that because they have athletes coming behind, they think it's okay for these athletes to leave. But it really, honestly, it doesn't look good for the association. I don't think it looks good for the association. Um, it paints a troubling picture for the organization's value. You know, um, do you value the athletes? What is it that you really value? Do you value the athlete, or or do you, or is it a case where you just don't care because you have an array of athletes coming behind? It can be, again, this can be a trickle down effect, because once these athletes go away and performing well, other athletes that are looking from the outside is going to think that, you know what, I might need to do the same thing, and they're going to have conversation. And it's not going to only be in Jamaica. I think the whole Caribbean and the whole probably is going to be affected by it.
You have some strong points there, Dennis. Really strong points. And we're gonna live to see a lot more coming. And as I said, in the beginning, when it started, like magnifying itself, is Asafa making particular statement, and we realize the backlash that he got from mostly individuals or our fellow countrymen. But it wasn't too many athletes because they're silent. Some of the athletes are keeping their silence. They know what is going on, but they're keeping their silence. But
Yeah,
us on the outside, we don't have the slightest clue how our athletes are being treated. And I'm happy that you're here, Dennis, because you would have gone back to yesteryear. From the 90s, you're competing. From the 90s, you have brought home medals to Jamaica, Olympic medals, not just regular medals. Olympian, you're two-time Olympian. So you have represented us to the highest level. And if you're still seeing a lacking in this Jamaica structure when it comes on to our athlete, I'm not doubting what you are saying right now. I'm not doubting what Asafa is saying when he talk about his kids, because he who feels it knows it. That is
mhm,
one of our regular statements in Jamaica. We hear that from our grandparents.
yeah,
Who feels it knows it. So if he represent Jamaica and also went on to the highest level, and for him to say that, guess what? For my kids to represent Jamaica, things have to change. That's all he was saying,
pretty
He's not
much.
saying that he not not gonna represent Jamaica, But he say
Mm,
under this current structure or administration or what is going on, he would rather his child represent another country, for example, like the USA, because he has represented Jamaica and Asafa, him have to hunt him own bread right now. You get what
mhm,
me I say? So
yeah,
I would not want my child to come up in the same line. I am working hard currently because I don't want my child to go through what I go been through. Okay.
mhm,
And if you're a father and you don't want the best for your child, I don't know what kind of father you would be. You get what I'm saying?
right, right.
So so really and truly, I stand with him on the grounds that he was saying. You know, and now we see the ripple effect now. We see that these athletes didn't even go and say it. What they do is that they just step out and say, guess what? Me not play no fool of myself. It's a better offering. And if
Mm,
there's a better offering on the table, it's just me and you. For example, I apply for a job, two, three, four jobs. If I see on the application, or even like you, Dennis, you said many schools were willing to give you a scholarship. But when you get that scholarship, you're gonna look at what you have before you. What is it that you are looking for versus what is it that these schools are offering? And that's how you make your choice.
right.
Which university you wanted to attend? Because you have several things before you. So they have offering before them. And if our offering is not appealing, then they're not gonna stay with it. And we have to do something to make our offering be appealing. And as we said, we have to now start getting people. If we don't have those people with the vision, we have to find those people and bring them into these association or these body governing our athletes. Or else we're gonna be losing more and more athletes as the year go by. We're gonna see the Olympic coming up, and a born Jamaican will be taking the stand. But yet still that medal is not reflecting a Jamaican because they're representing Turkey, right?
Mhm,
Yet still they're born Jamaican.
right.
What kind of message are we sending for the future generation? Or even current athletes? Dennis, I'm gonna give you a few minutes just unpack. what you see happening here. And guys, so I just want to tell you this. Come next week, this week we can't have enough of Dennis because from what I see, Dennis is real. As I said, he has been through the system and now he has matured, he has grown, he has a chance to look back and see if there's any changes. Are they moving in the right direction? You know, are we doing the things that we're supposed to do? Are we doing the things that is really needed to help in supporting our athletes as they go forth to represent Jamaica? Are we doing enough to keep our athletes in Jamaica and representing us? You know, with that said, Dennis and I will be having put it like this, a Sunday evening candid conversation that you guys can get involved in. Whereas we're gonna talk through different aspects of sports. Because Dennis is a sports person. I'm a sports person. If you don't know it, I'm cricket, and I'm also gonna have even where we talk about what is happening in the cricket side. Because don't feel like it's not happening in most of the sports. It's happening for cricket. They're not getting the support they need. We could talk to about our footballers too. The female football team, the female cricket team, are they getting enough support? There's so much stuff to talk about. And also we know that you on the outside have a lot to say too. We're gonna take all the views in. But it's good to have an analyst like Dennis who's been through the system when it comes down to athletes to help guide us along. So we're gonna have this program, Real Talk, Real Money with Dennis and Eian. So me and Dennis, we're gonna unpack a lot of things that is happening in the sports world. And now, as I said, Dennis is a mentor, so he has grown. So he's basically a personal coach. Dennis also have been involved in health and wellness, and that is where I come in also. I am also a health advocate. Lately, Dennis is a health advocate. We have grown, as you see both flags behind me, Jamaica and the USA. So we have seen things from a third world standpoint versus a first world. And what we want to do, we want to have a bridge. We want to bridge that gap. See how well we can bridge that gap. We also know that athletes are worried that they're not making the money or they're not getting it from the J3A, from the Olympic Association. I don't know all the terminology. Dennis knows them. But we're also going to help to guide young athletes in terms of earning, making some money while you're going representing. So train and earn at the same time. There's ways that you guys can make money without even looking for other sources. You can create it, and there's nothing being created. And it's good that we have somebody like Dennis, who's also an entrepreneur. Dennis have a book out here, guys. So just if you don't know, I'm gonna let Dennis tell you all about this. But I'm just telling you from what I know because I bought the book and I read the book, and it's a powerful book. So also we can take a look into that. And so as I say, he's an entrepreneur, business person, he's a mentor. So, for the young athletes, I think he'll be perfect for Jamaica. And as a health advocate, so basically it's a holistic approach that, you have somebody here who can unpack a lot of things. And as I said, I will be working along with Dennis. So guys, if you don't know, I'm telling you this evening, be one of the first person to go on your Facebook page right now and look up Real Talk, Real Money with Eian and Dennis. This is going to be a platform where we can unpack, we can help to lead each other, we can help to uplift each other, we can help to motivate each other, we can help in terms of health, your wellness, your financial backing, all this stuff. We're going to have this platform because we think it is needed. We also think that some of our association need to see and hear other views, hear the views of the people. So Dennis, I'll just give you a few minutes to unpack and come next week, guys. We'll give early announcement when you can join this movement, the Real Talk, Real Money with Eian and Dennis. So look it up now and just go subscribe from early so you don't miss anything. All right? Back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, so again, I really appreciate this opportunity to sort of bring some light, different perspective to what is taking place in Jamaica. with these athletes that are migrating. Um, I just want to add also that the association should be using the even the current, not necessarily current or Olympian athletes, but also the past professional athletes that are in Jamaica, because you have like Juliet Cuthbert, who talks about, even to go into the stadium, it's sometimes a challenge whether she have to pay or not to, what I mean, that type of thing. And um, who better able to go with an athlete to a international meet than somebody who not only won two silver medals and I think a bronze medal, you know what I mean? But yet they're there and the association don't even bring them for counseling, for mentoring. They don't bring them for advice. They don't, you know what I mean? You wouldn't find that happen here in the United States. You find out that past athletes go to these track meets and motivate the upcoming athletes. You have somebody like Neil Gardner who the association pay for to go to school and yet they're not using him. You know what I mean? He's just there. They're not using him. It's almost these athletes, and they want to help. It's not like they're gonna get paid. They want to help. They're athletes. They're former athletes, and know they want to help, but yet they don't want to. They're not using them. So I just want to say that I hope that this will be a wake up call, not only for the J Trades but also for the JOA, and I hope that they will do something about bridging the gap and to preventing these athletes from migrating. Because again, they need to take a look at sports tourism from all angle. Again, not necessarily just sports tourism, but just an array of opportunities that they're missing. And again, without vision, the people perish.
You got that right, Dennis. Without vision, the nation perish. Jamaica is a beautiful country, island that stand out when it comes on to athletics. Jamaica is known across the world because of athletes like Dennis Blake, Usain Bolt, Shelly Fraser, Veronica Campbell, Asafa Powell, and the list will continue from our young sprinters coming out of high school. Boys and girls champs is probably one of the biggest events across the world when it comes to young athletes gathering and giving top tier performance, running some sub numbers that you will pop your eyes wide open to ask yourself, is this just a 16-year-old doing this? You know, is this a class three person doing this time? That's what Jamaica offers to the world. People are looking in on Jamaica, looking closely at our athletes. People wanna be a part of our program. So as Dennis said, we have the coaches down there, but if the athletes start moving, trust me, the coach is gonna go with the athletes also. So
Mhm.
it's so much that is at stake, that is at risk right now at this current time. And as I said, these athletes are here in the numbers that is now being offered to other athletes if they decide to step out.
Yes.
So if, if we don't mind sharp what we're doing, we may see the next Olympics and our best athletes are representing other country, other nation.
And winning medals.
You know, Kwabi will be like, you don't see it? It is right before us, guys. We gotta protect our assets, and we have to treat them like they're real assets. They have put their, as I said, sweat, blood, tears, the many injuries, as what Dennis said, the sleepless night, the sacrifice that you have to sacrifice even your friend when everybody want to go out, they go play and have a good time. These athletes have to be locked into what they're doing because it's their profession, it's their job. And if you're not paying me for it, I just gonna move on to the next client, the next business place, the next company. It's no different. And so when Many of us can sit on our bedroom and go out and just say anything about these athletes. You look at it from your standpoint. If this is your job and another company offering you far more with more benefits, a better package, are you gonna stay with that old job? None of us gonna do that. I can tell you that if you have anything about you and you put into consideration yourself and your family and the people who depending on you, you're not gonna take that job the way you pay you that little meager money there and not give no benefits. The athletes are doing just the same. So don't bash our athletes for doing what they're doing. Let's ask the people who are responsible for managing these athletes, you know, let them look what other nations are doing to keep their athletes so we can keep our athletes. And as I said, this is a platform. Share your ideas, guys. Let our governing bodies for these athletes who represent us as a nation, Jamaica, open conversation. Just let them have it. Share your mind. Athlete, if you come on, I want you to talk your mind to. Because you are the one who going through it. I'm not an athlete. I was actually recruited at St. Elizabeth Technical High School as an athlete by Mike Olivier, but my athletic journey never lasted too long. I had to pivot to cricket. And with that said, Dennis, I don't want you to miss this, shout out that, a state past student can see you have it. So tell them something that, show them your state flag to let me see it,
Oh, see, oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
man.
guys, yeah, man, we the work on integrity,
Yeah.
that's what we stand on. And, we definitely have decided that there's so much more that we can do as a nation, and we're going to be creating that platform for you guys to also share your ideas, what you think, what can make a difference. And remember, it's real talk, real money with Eian and Dennis. Start looking up over the Facebook side, brand new coming, because Dennis sees where he can offer his help and his support. So if the J3 not asking him to come, as you hear you talk about Juliet Cuthbert, that's wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, but not being used. We're giving a platform that we can use these people. Dennis have decided as a mentor that guess what? We're gonna share something. But he said, Eian, I know when it comes on to health and so forth, you're there. So we wanna do a big package where we can help the people. When it comes on to entrepreneur, also an entrepreneur, he's an entrepreneur. So we want to help even the athletes and how them can make money. And make money while them in Jamaica, them can make money foreign. So there's a lot gonna happen on this platform. Real talk, real money with Eian
Yeah.
and Dennis. Go
Yes, sir.
sign up right now, go log in
Come with all the
and
questions.
join that on Facebook. The YouTube will come shortly, but we have to make a start because we definitely have to put our little bits and pieces, whatever we can add, to make sure that Jamaica stands as a nation and as a force to reckon with when it comes to athletics, not just athletics, cricket, soccer, netball. We are so decorated. Look at Dennis with the cap, the the green, the gold, the black. It stand out and it signifies strength, unity, power. People just want to see a flag somewhere and them a come ask you, what go on at Jamaica? You know, them ask you even with patois, they want to learn for speaking.
Mhm.
Them eat with food, with culture. And now with entertainment, don't lose that either because as we see, most of the entertainers we now look good, but most of them are going foreign and get the money and we produce them the same thing that happen with the athletics. So Dennis,
Yeah.
the last minute is yours, Dennis, and people gonna share no comments and share.
Well, that's exactly what I would say too. Is go on the platform, share your comments, and we can always talk about it on the next weekend. We look forward to another round of conversation.
Well, Dennis, on behalf of the Together We Rise Building Our Nation platform, we just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, you know, to come on here this afternoon to unpack and shed a little light in terms of what athletes are facing and why they make certain decisions. And I want to thank you for representing Jamaica at the highest level, being a two-time Olympian with bronze medal. It's not easy to bring home a bronze medal. It's not even easy to make the final when you have the final cut. More so to bring home two bronze medals to Jamaica. We just want to say well done, Dennis. And know, Dennis, that you have traveled through life journey. You have gained so much experience, so much knowledge, and you have so much to offer back to our little country, Jamaica. We just want to say thank you. We look forward to our, I say, little sessions going forth and how we can help to make Jamaica a better place for our athletes and for our fellow countrymen. And thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much, Dennis.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.